What is up, everyone? Welcome to the UnderDog Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Nolan alongside Robert Vose. How the heck are you?
Fantastic. I'm here. I made
No
it. This
Sal,
is
no
it.
Antonio.
So this is my peak.
Obviously we're kind of in the in-between period where like NFL is over, waiting on March Madness. Sal and Antonio are busy this week, so I just figured, you know what, why not just do it? And Robert's been on the podcast before. I think this is probably your third time, if we count the
I think
watch party thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you count the watch party, I think it's my third.
Nice.
Yeah, I know. That was in the old setup though.
That was the old setup. I keep promising. Sal keeps asking me if we're gonna have an in-person setup soon. Like he asks me like every single week, and I'm like, dude, I promise you we will have one before the next NFL season. And I tell him that every time, and each week he's like, when are we gonna have an in-person setup? But
Yeah, I know the in person is good, but yeah, no, just do it like over the summer. Are you gonna do it in that room?
probably not in this room. Probably in the basement. But we're gonna finish the basement like in the next year and a half. So once I
Okay.
have like
Yes.
an office space down there, then we'll set up like we'll set up something.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But I think even if it's not finished by then, I'll like piece something together for like a setup. I think it would be fine.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
Um,
it's whatever.
Tell me about the Boston Bruins
The
in this
dumpster
trade.
fire of the Boston Bruins.
One of probably, I don't know. I think if the Luka trade didn't happen, this might be one of the wildest trades like ever.
This is a crazy trade, but no, not in terms of like Luca's. I would say the Luca thing is bigger because Luca's in his prime, like he's good. I don't think Marchand has like that big of an effect, but I do think like in terms of just like rivalry, the past 5 years, like Florida, I think it is a crazy trade to trade our captain to them. But um, yeah, I don't know how much he's gonna help. I don't know what he's gonna bring to that team because like they are awesome. Like that is a really good team.
I
And
think
I don't know.
I think obviously he brings a lot of experience that some of the players don't really have, but they did win the cup last year, so
Exactly.
they do know what it takes, and
Right.
I think like it was more or less like Marchand wanted to be traded there because he knew he'd have a good shot at going to like be at least like competing for a cup.
Yeah.
So I understand why he would want to go there. I don't really blame him for putting that on the list of teams he wanted to be traded to. I think I more blame Don Sweeney and the Bruins for actually trading him there. Like just because he
I
says he
agree.
wants to get traded there, I'm sure there was a bunch of teams that he would have wanted to get traded to. Why do you have to trade him to the team that is your rival
Exactly. I
and has
mean,
basically shit on us the last 3 years?
they have dunked on us the past 3 years. They've shown us up at every turn. The
Because
President's Trophy year, that hurt so bad.
yeah,
That
and
was one of the worst losses.
the worst thing about it too is like it's not like the Bruins are completely out of a playoff spot, and if they do make the playoffs, they will probably play Florida in the first round. It's like
Yeah.
that thought didn't go through your head.
I don't know if they think they're gonna make the playoffs because I don't. I
I
prefer
don't think
I
they're going to make the
prefer that if
playoffs,
they don't.
but I mean, it's not like they're completely out of it.
No, they're not. The other teams are giving us a fucking chance here.
Yeah,
It's
and if they have
ridiculous.
20 games left and they go and I don't know, they win like 13 of them and make the playoffs, it's like, now what? Now you're going to have Florida shit on us again. And then not
Yeah,
only that, you have our old captain on the team.
yeah.
It's just like, and then if they go win the cup, I might kill myself, dude.
If Florida wins the cup, I would be.
If Florida shit
I
on
mean,
us in the
that's my.
first round and then went and won the cup,
I mean, I wouldn't be that mad. I really wouldn't be. I think if you don't win, I don't. I think make the playoffs. Don't make the playoffs. If you don't win the cup, bust. It's a bust here. So
yeah, I think
to
so.
if we lose to the people who win the cup, at least that's a little bit better. And I get to see Marchand lift the cup. Fucking, I love that guy. He's one of my favorite players.
Yeah, I mean,
So I'd be ecstatic for him.
seeing everything since the trade has been so upsetting.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, definitely.
his like press
Definitely.
conference with Florida where he starts to get choked up talking about the Bruins. And then I think someone
Yeah.
asked him about, like, hey, like, what do you think the Bruins need to do moving forward, like, now that you're gone? And he said something like, oh, we need to. And then he, like, quickly, like, corrected himself and said, they need to. And I was like, oh my God, dude. I was like, that little correction, I was like, oh my God, it's real.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, drafted in what, 2008, 2009.
yeah,
I I
won
don't
a cup
know,
his rookie
but
year. Not bad.
not fucking bad. Goes from fourth line to like a star player, a key player. I mean, unbelievable. And then he gives us like another 16 years. It's fucking,
Yeah.
I don't know. Can't ask for much more. I
I
feel bad that we traded him, but like, I mean, I think it's a good move for him. I think fucking go win a cup then.
yeah, I think I don't know the it seems to be like a theme nowadays, like where Boston teams just have this like streak of just being hard on like their players. Like you see it with the Red
Yeah.
Sox when they don't pay Mookie Betts, he leaves. We don't get Juan Soto, he goes to the Mets because they don't want to pay. They um have done the same thing in the past with like the whole like Brady and Patriots thing where like Brady kept taking pay cuts every single year with the Patriots. They don't want to pay him.
Hmm.
Belichick never wants to pay anybody. And now the Bruins are like, okay, because the story was that Marchand wanted 3 years. The Bruins only wanted to give him 2. They said the Bruins were at like 6.25 AAV. He wanted seven and some change. Whatever. Then Marchand was like, okay, I'll do 2. But like I kind of want 7. They were like, we'll do 6, whatever. And he was willing to compromise and meet in the middle, and the Bruins weren't. And that's when they were like, we're trading you. Where do you want to get traded? And then when you
Yeah.
realize that they basically got air for him, is
Yeah.
so stupid.
It's crazy.
Like
It's wild.
also because the thing that keeps bugging me is why did it have to be now? Like why did it have to be decided now? Why can't we just wait till after the season and figure this out? And then if he wants to leave, he can leave. Why did it have to be
Yeah.
like now and then he gets traded to Florida in like the craziest situation ever?
I don't really, I don't really get it. I don't I agree. Like I don't really get that aspect of it. Like why did they do it at the deadline? Why not just play out the season? Like let's just see how things go.
Yeah, if you weren't
Like,
happy with how where he was and like contract and value,
yeah.
why did it have to be we're trading you? Because
Yeah.
if that's the case, you're like, oh, we can get something for him, but then they didn't get anything for him. So then
Right.
it's like okay, so basically you traded him out of spite almost, and then that doesn't make Don Sweeney look any better because it's like
Makes
you
him look
look
horrible.
you look at how we got rid of Frederick, we get rid of Coyle, we get people for those, we got something for Carlo, like we get things and we get picks for, like one conditional pick in
Yeah.
2027, maybe a first in 2028. Ooh, like I'm like holy shit
Right.
for our captain and the guy that's been pretty much the face of your franchise for 15 years is insane. Like
I agree.
it's mismanagement because the trade deadline would have been perfect minus that Marchand trade, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, like perfect. I would give him like an 8.5 out of 10. I think they actually
Right.
did like those trades were decent.
Because
I
you
I
get
don't
why they
hate the
would
team afterwards.
you get why they would want to sell at this point. They've had a really
Yeah.
bad year. They, aren't happy with some of the pieces that they have. It's like, okay, let's try to sell and we'll get some pieces and we'll go into a rebuild. I don't know if that involves trading your captain away. Like that he could have been a
I
very
know.
big involvement in rebuilding this team. And like
Yeah.
he was definitely willing to play 3 more years. I think that would be a perfect like bridge into the next. I don't know because
Exactly.
you have some young pieces like you have Mason Lohrei, Pasternak's still pretty young. You got Zaka's pretty young. Like
I love
Swayman's young.
Poitras.
Patra's
Yeah.
brand
Swayman.
new.
Yeah.
It's
Swayman definitely has to play better, but that's a different story.
Swayman hasn't played great this year. I think the big thing that kind of the big thing that set this all off was not beating Florida
Yeah.
3 years ago. But the
Yeah.
thing that really set it off was the contract negotiation going into
Yeah.
this year that like
Mhm.
kind of threw off his whole preseason.
Yep.
and he's partially to blame for that. I don't really blame Sweeney and Cam Neely for that. I don't blame them 100% for that. I probably would give
I
like
don't.
60% of the blame to them.
I would give 100% for the how they dealt with that Omar shit.
Yeah, for the
That
Martian
was
shit,
fake.
yeah.
No, 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 Omar. And not just the
Oh,
Swayman
yeah.
things. The way they got rid of Omar and like the way they did their goalie shit, that's crazy. I
Yeah,
think that was insane.
because here's the thing. I did not mind Olmark leaving because it was going to be hard because they both wanted to be compensated for the job that they did because they both were very equally,
Yeah,
fantastic in their own right. Like Omar had a Vesna season, led us to
yeah,
the best
for
record
sure.
ever. And then Swayman is a rock in the playoffs. He played really good last year in the playoffs. And they both wanted to be compensated. I think they got rid of him too early because they got rid of him too early because now
Definitely.
it gave Swayman all the leverage and that forced him to make this play where he wanted the most that he could get.
Yeah,
If they had waited and kind of leveraged Olmark a little bit and like waited, I think they could have made Swayman cave a lot earlier. And
yeah.
maybe that wouldn't have been this long drawn out thing that went through the preseason and then ultimately has led to just a very disappointing season. Now he's had some moments. He hasn't been totally dominant, but at the same time, our team has been dog shit. Like
Yeah,
our team
our
has
team
not
has
been
been
good.
dog shit. I know it is very tough to tell, but just based off like shot percentage and what we saw, like Swayman in the playoffs, I mean, that was some of the best goaltending I've ever seen. And Omar too, he played fucking insane. But Swayman, like, if we got 3 goals or more, like, it was a good chance we win that game because he was not letting up more than two. So like it was very convincing. So like I agree like with him and like stay and get that money. But yeah, the Bruins definitely mismanaged that situation. That was sad to see. And they were such good like friends. They seemed like I don't know how often that is in hockey.
Not
Like
yeah,
how
definitely not very
like
often.
because those two are at they're competing for playing time. So like I get it if they're not the best of friends, but to have two guys like committed and good friends and splitting games, you know, I thought it was
Yeah,
good for
and
the
like
locker room, good
I
for the
don't really
team.
know how much conversation went into the fact of like, hey, if we both kind of like put our egos aside for one more year and like really because here's the thing, like it was this year, like I was really excited for this year because we had the cap space and
Me
we
too.
had the piece. Like I still think bringing in Lindholm and Zadorov were two of the like best moves you could have made at that point in time.
Yeah,
Like
I agree.
they haven't had the best time here again, but our team is shit. So I don't know like how much that
Right.
really goes into it if it's just an off year all around. But if they had like said like, hey, let's both take a team friendly deal here and we can have one more shot at it. I don't know how
Yeah.
much conversation went into that. Probably not much because at the end of the day, it is a business. And like Olmark, I think had a lot good reason to be like, hey, I want to make some money
Yeah, definitely.
because it's not like the NBA where you're making fucking $150 million. Like
Yeah,
you're making $6 million a year or some shit like that. It's like I don't know. If I can go get 8.5 or 9 somewhere, I'm gonna go do it. It's a lot of money.
absolutely. Yeah, it's a
Um,
ton of money. But I mean, you even said it before they did that Zadorov that they should get Zadorov.
yeah, they needed to get bigger
You
in the
said it
back
multiple
end,
times. Yeah.
and
Well, I mean, you got fucking pummeled by Florida. I mean, you just see
yeah,
Florida just bodies us off the puck. So I think it was a good strategy to go out and get big fuckers, but it just, I don't know. You
yeah. I
need a
mean,
different, you need to play different.
low rise really big, so that helps, and he
He's
can skate
huge.
really well. He's got a long reach. He can shoot. That's I
He
think
makes
where
good decisions. I like
yeah. And then
Lorad.
Zadorov was supposed to be the guy that beats the fuck out of you.
I know.
Like he did the other night on Sam Bennett. Like that's what we need, but he just keeps getting into the fucking penalty box and
Yeah.
he's not making good plays. He's
He
as of
doesn't make
late
smart
he's been
decisions,
better.
I'd say.
As of late
Yeah.
he's been better the past few games. And maybe this new like Yoki Haru ever since he's been paired with him, they've been playing a lot better. The team's been playing a lot better with them on the ice. But again, this is like an AHL level team right now. It's like they don't have
Yeah.
if you look at the stats in the last I think 30 games, Kiki, Zaka, and Pasta make up for about 45% of the offense. And like that's just
Yeah.
it. And then if
You
Marchand
can't
was
do
still
that.
there, he would have been a big other chunk of that.
Yeah,
Of
I
that
know.
of that
Yes,
55%. It would have been Marchand would have been most of that other 55% other than those three
I
guys.
know.
So it's
I
like
know.
we're not getting anything from anyone. I think it was a good time to move off Coyle. I think they gave him every
I
opportunity
agree.
to step up and become a top line guy, and he just never really like he's shown moments. And then in that playoff run in 2019, he was a big part of that. And
It's huge.
he played really good for us. But I think it run its course. I think at this point, I think it was okay to get rid of him and get something for him. Same thing with Trent Frederick. I think we saw his best and he just never could get to that next level.
Yeah.
Getting rid of Carlo, I think, was good. I think he was definitely an interchangeable piece. I don't think he was a key
Yeah.
piece. Like obviously he
No.
played well, but so now it's
Very
like
good
okay,
defense.
now we freed up some cap space for this offseason. It's either you spend it this offseason because there's another good year of free agents coming, and maybe you can make another crack at it, or you go into a rebuild and you build it slowly over the next 2 to 5 years, and then we'll be a wagon in like 6 or 7, and then we'll make another run at it and hopefully fucking get it this time. It's
Yeah.
just tough because it's like, can Sweeney do that?
No. I don't think he can. I fucking hate that guy. But I also think if your plan is rebuild, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but don't you need like a solid leader, like a glue guy, like a Martian? Like, don't you want to build around him? Like you said, like sign him to a 2 year. It's just a bridge, and then like he helps get the team off the ground, and then he retires it to the sunset, whatever.
Yeah,
But like,
because
I don't think you want to get rid of veteran guys in the locker room when you're trying to do a
no.
rebuild. Like, I get trimming the fat, but like, you need something to build around. So
Yeah, and like you need like you said, you need the player guy, like you need the glue guy. Every team that has made a run deep into the playoffs and even to the cup, it has a veteran presence.
yeah,
Right now, our longest tenured player is David Pastrnak, and he's what 28 years old. It's like, dude, like we don't have that veteran guy, and you know what? Maybe we bring somebody in the offseason and we could build, maybe somebody that hasn't, maybe somebody that would be considered a veteran now, but a few years ago maybe was still new. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I
like a
can't really,
Svechnikov. That's what I
yeah,
want. I want
like
Svechnikov.
somebody that can be, and I love this Who's Nadinov guy. I love this guy. He is young,
No,
fast.
you said that was funny.
Who's Nadinov? How the fuck do you pronounce it?
No, 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 no. Just the way you said it. No, I think that is how you pronounce it. I think that's correct. I just thought it was funny.
I think Casey Middlestat is a good solid middle of the pack guy that could either be Trent Frederick or outperform Trent Frederick, and I think it's going to be the latter because Trent Frederick was kind of just free skating this past year. So
Yeah,
anything better than that, and he's already produced a good amount while he's here in those last 3 games or 2
yeah.
games. I think he's good. I think Yoki
I
Haru,
don't.
I'm not completely sold on yet, but I think he might be a good piece.
He's
Um,
fine. I mean, the thing that I'm concerned about, I don't even care about production from those guys. I need them to win 50-50s. We don't win 50-50 battles. I mean, we must be like in the like 5% of 50-50 pucks that we win. Like we get beat to the puck every time. In the corners we lose it. It's so frustrating to watch. I mean, we can't sustain any offensive zone time because of it.
and
So
I,
from every new guy that comes in, just play hard. You don't have to score. I don't care. Just play hard
right
and
because
hit
at this
somebody.
point,
Hit somebody. I don't get it.
yeah, at this point, I'm just hoping we see something positive heading into the offseason.
Yeah.
I do not want this team to make the playoffs. It will be the
No.
quickest exit because you're going to play
Yeah.
Florida and you're going to get swept.
Easily.
I don't want that. I would rather us just not do it at all. And like, because here's the thing too, like, if they make the playoffs, I am going to hope. There will always
I
be
know.
a
Yeah.
glimmer
Right.
of hope. I don't want that. I don't want that at all because
Yeah.
how easy is it going to be going into that series of Florida being like, what if we just kick their ass?
Yeah.
How
I
easy is
know.
that? How easy is it to go, Swayman's gonna stand on his head. We're gonna, show Don
We're gonna
Sweeney.
do this.
We're gonna, because that's the thing too. If they somehow were to beat the Florida Panthers in a 7-game series, Don Sweeney would get saved again. Don Sweeney would get saved again. I do not want that. I want us to miss the playoffs, and he gets the fuck out of there.
Who's above him? Who fires Don Sweeney?
Charlie Jacobs, the owner.
Okay, fire him.
And
I don't know. Fire.
Yeah, I don't know what more we have to do to just like fire this guy.
I don't get it either. I know hockey is very tough to pick guys. Like talent isn't always super obvious, and like sometimes guys have to like get into a system and like they have to learn people. But I mean, like his picks are terrible. His trades are terrible. I mean, for everyone that has been good, he has like 10 bad ones. So like,
Here's the thing.
I agree. I don't see how you look at like his past and like you're like, okay, this guy's doing pretty well. He can stay on. Like, I don't get how you even have that thought.
And the sad part is, I was fighting for Don Sweeney up until this point. I was like, everyone hates on this guy. Everyone makes it all about him, like blaming him. It's not entirely him. And we were right to think that. Like, you look back at some of the stuff he's made, it's like, oh yeah, they have no young talent. Well, guess what? We went to the Cup 3 different times. We made deep playoff runs. They just bought into the core that they had and then used trades to build up the lower end and the lower half. And we had a young team that kind of grew old as time go on. You don't need young talent because young talent comes in when you're rebuilding. We haven't rebuilt. We rebuilt in 2007, 2008 and haven't looked back. And we've been a really solid team, one of the winningest teams in hockey since then. So I think the moves and one of the first moves he made as GM or whatever is Charlie McAvoy. That was one of his first moves. Pick. It's like,
that was really good.
Big move. And then some of the free agents that he's signed have been good. Like when Charlie Coyle and Johansson came in, we made a deep playoff run.
Yeah.
When he bought David Backes in, David Backes was the perfect example of bringing in a veteran guy that has playoff experience that, may not make it up on the stat sheet, but that he's going to be a big part of you going into the playoffs because he's such a experienced player. And sometimes, you know what? It just doesn't work. And I think if we won those 2 cups in 2013 and in 2019, this would be a lot different.
It would definitely be a lot different. He would have a job for life if we won even one of those 2 cups.
And then we lose in game 6 and one of them. We went to a game 7, a game 6, and a game 7. Yeah, and we won one of them. And it sucks too because I was talking with Sal about this. It sucks that the one that we did win was our most improbable.
I know. Well, like, who thought we were going to beat Vancouver?
If you looked at all 3 of the matchups in those Stanley Cup Finals on paper, you'd be like, they lose this one. And it was the one that we won.
I cannot believe we lost to the Blues. The Blues hurt by far the most.
That was the most lopsided.
I mean, compared to, like, Chicago, but...
I think Chicago, we were a slight underdog. But, like, if we were to beat them, it wouldn't really surprise anybody. But...
the fucking Bennington,
the Blues, bro. Yeah, the Blues, that definitely hurt the most.
The Blues hurt so much. Oh my god, bro. That was terrible. But at least we got that Krug. Was that in the playoffs? That Krug clip? Him like battling in front of that was in the
I don't know. He had that huge hit on
it was Robert like wrestles with that guy basically and then skates the entire length of the ice to flatten him.
I think it was Robert Thomas that he hit. It's kind of funny. Robert Thomas.
So. I know. Thomas
I think that was game 1 or game 2. I think it was that.
That's one of the best clips ever.
And we won that game.
Never mind. And yes. That's what we need. We need that electricity.
Trips, dude.
Yeah. Oh my god. We can't talk about it.
I'll start sweating.
I'll break into tears. I'll fucking lose it.
Yeah, because now moving forward, it's like I'm fully prepared for the next 20 years to just be.
Yeah.
Because I talked about this too when when the Patriots get rid of Brady. I'm fully accepting the fact that we won a lot. Now we have to rebuild our team, and I'm fully okay with the next 20 years, struggling to make the playoffs, and then maybe in one of those years we have like a Cinderella type run to the Super Bowl and we lose, but like it would have been a really exciting year. And it's like, okay, the Bruins have just been like heartbreak since 2011.
Yeah.
It's just been heartbreak after heartbreak, and now it's like, okay, now we have to go into a rebuild, and we're just gonna be dog shit for the next 15 years. Like it wasn't even worth it.
Yeah.
But
But no, you're definitely right. Yeah, I miss Bergeron.
I
That's who
miss
I
Bergeron
miss.
and Krejci every single
He
day.
was so fucking. He's like such an not underrated because everyone fucking loves that guy, but he's like one of the best hockey players I think like ever. He's like so good.
I think he's
But
underrated in the fact that like, yeah, he probably is one of the best players to ever play, but he's never gonna be in that conversation
oh yeah,
because
just
of
because like
Sidney
stats
Crosby.
wise,
And Sidney
yeah,
Crosby,
yeah,
and then Alex Ovechkin's gonna break Gretzky's record, so like that
yeah,
kind of takes away from it. But if you really look at
yeah.
his stats and like his production, it was so consistent for so long.
Very consistent. His hockey IQ is off the charts. Is like I think his presence in that locker room was like huge for the Bruins over his entire career. I mean, obviously we had Chara too, but I mean that's kind of what I wanted for Marchand. Like I wanted him to just like retire a Bruin because I always put him and Bergeron in the same basket. Like they played very similar. I mean, Marchand was a little more grimy and
Yeah,
Bergeron was a little smarter. But yeah, I miss that dude. But we don't have to talk about the Bruins forever.
yeah.
I
As
don't know
much
if you
as I
wanted to
would, I
talk
could
about.
I could talk like 8 hours about the
Yeah, I'll
Bruins.
probably just get like more upset and angry the longer we talk about it.
Just creep deeper into a dark black hole.
Literally want to die.
Um, so let's talk about college hoops then. This
Okay.
is this is like the best time of the year, and I think this year has been better too because like I feel like it's so up in the air, and we're seeing so you could tell too just based on some of these like conference games that have been so close and like so many
Yeah.
buzzer beaters and like so many upsets and like even like DePaul last night against Creighton, like they still lost, but like DePaul was just fighting, dude. They lost like 20, I think it was like 23 in a row to Marquette, and they came out and hit them in the mouth. But I mean, what a game that was,
Yeah.
and that is just all
It
across the board,
was.
across all the conferences, and like
Yeah.
it's just making it so much better. And I just can't wait for the fucking tournament.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a great tournament this year. I think the difference between like the top 10 teams, besides maybe Duke, I'm putting in like a different. I hate to say it, but Duke, I am putting a little. They are definitely the best team in the country. It's not even close. I mean, the fact that they weren't. I mean, I know like they had some losses, but the fact that they weren't number one is. I mean, they are. I think they are now, but for the longest time they
For
weren't,
the
and
first time
it's
since
crazy.
20, I forget.
Like
I forget how maybe like 5 years or something or 6 years that they
really,
haven't been number one. They
when did
did.
Krzyzewski leave? When did Coach K leave?
Um, I want to
Wonder.
say right before COVID, maybe 2019 or 2018.
Oh, okay.
Was he the coach when Zion was there?
Uh, Head coach until 2022. Yeah, he was the head coach wasn't he? Yeah, 2022 must have been.
Yeah, I think that might have been
Had to
his
be.
last year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, maybe.
Maybe
Yeah.
not.
No, he was. I mean, yeah, it's probably since then. But like, yeah, obviously he was the best ever. Um.
But
Yeah, I
yeah, I
think
mean,
Houston's really good. I think Houston's like a really good team. I'm probably gonna pick Bama to win it all. They just seem like they're not like. I don't think you want to pick a Duke. I think they're very susceptible a to an upset. But I think Alabama's in like a perfect spot. Like they're a little bit humbled by their losses. They have a really good basketball team, and I think they have really good defense too. So I think Alabama could do it. If not them, Duke probably or Houston. I don't know,
these
but
these SEC teams are kind of scary this year.
crazy. I
Like
know it's crazy.
you look at
Looking
teams
at
like
the conference
Florida,
is nuts.
Auburn. Tennessee, Alabama, even like
Yeah.
Kentucky is kind of good again. Like I don't know, like
I know, and Louisville's back. I know they're not.
like Alabama, like you're right. Alabama has been building like a really good program. They have a really good coach. Sears is incredible. Like he's like a gamer. That game winner he had against who was that against? I think it might have been Auburn. It was like their last
Oh, it
regular
was. It
season
was.
game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It
Like
was against Auburn.
I don't know. I feel like it has to be an
Can't believe
SEC
they won
team
that
this
game.
year. Like
Yeah,
it has to be because they've just been they haven't won it in a while and like if it's not like a Tennessee, Alabama, Auburn, Florida, like I feel like it'd be insane not to have at least one of those teams win the whole thing. I
I
think
agree. No, I totally agree.
you got like
Um,
Houston, huh? I feel like Houston is always a good solid pick, but I feel like because of the teams
yeah,
that
they
they
are.
play, like they I don't know, they're just always
I agree.
like they're always
Yeah,
very susceptible to an upset when they play a team that plays in like a decent conference.
I agree. No, yeah. If I had to pick someone outside of the top 10, I think maybe, I think, I don't know. I think I'd maybe pick like Louisville. Honestly, even Wisconsin. I always like Wisconsin. But yeah, inside the top 10, yeah, I don't know. I think Alabama. Alabama would be my number one pick. I think they're in a great spot. St. John's, just because I love the Big East to show out. I don't love Patino, but
I think
um, I don't know.
St. John's is a big team and I think they are geared up to have a deep run. I definitely would not I think I would be surprised if they don't get to at least the Elite Eight. If they don't
I
get at
agree.
least to the
I
Elite
agree.
Eight, it'd probably be a failed season because they've been so bad, and now they get Rick Pitino. And last year they
Yeah,
were good, but like didn't quite get there. And this year they're a wagon, and they're
yeah,
so
they're very
tough,
good.
and like they just
Yeah,
and like the
that
Big
press is
East, dude. The
good.
Big East is like I was saying this to Sal too. Like every single game in the Big East that I watch is just a
Yeah,
fucking battle.
yeah,
They're
it's a
going to
dogfight every
battle.
time. Yeah, it is. It's a
And
really good conference. We get really good games.
and I just watched like the first half of the Marquette St. John's game and like dude, they are playing so hard. And like it's
Yeah,
I watch a decent amount of college basketball. Like nobody is playing like that.
yeah.
that's
St.
why
John's plays very, very tough,
that's why I said Big East
especially.
basketball might be the best basketball on the planet at the moment cuz I do
Yeah,
not like the NBA. Like I think the
yeah.
NBA is a glorified YMCA league.
Yeah. No,
It's
I
just
agree.
it's
I mean,
dudes
it's
just going
not
back and forth shooting threes.
yeah. Sometimes it's not Big East basketball isn't pretty. It's not like, but it's gritty. Like you'll get action. Like sometimes they'll lead. Sometimes we don't make shots. Like UConn playing Villanova last night. I mean, we won by almost 20. If you watch the game, like it's an extremely close game. And then they just went like cold for like 8 straight possessions, and we got hot. McNeely, Caravan was hitting, but it was a great game to watch. I know we won by like 19 or whatever, but
Yeah,
it definitely
the
wasn't. That's
score was
not
very
indicative.
misleading in that game for
Yeah,
sure.
I agree.
I mean, Villanova was up by 9 in the first half, and
Yeah,
it was very back and forth, probably up until like I don't know, maybe 4 minutes left. I think is when Caravan started hitting threes and
yeah,
Ball started finishing his drives, and like we started actually seeing shots going,
yeah.
and like
Our defense really picked up.
yeah, you could tell Villanova just kind of ran out of gas, and we just took over.
Yeah, yeah,
I really like how UConn has played. They have like I'd say in the beginning of the year they didn't really have it. They didn't really have like that grittiness and like that like I don't know. It's like they just dig deep and like are able to win. They didn't really
yeah.
have that in the first part of the year. They were losing some of these like close games in the second half. But now I
Yes,
feel like they've tightened up their defense. If they don't turn the ball over, they're a very scary team to play. And like
definitely.
obviously they're like if you're gonna pick a team that's like outside of it to win the whole thing, it would have to be UConn because they're not
Oh yeah,
ranked, but they probably should be.
I don't even know. Like I think those losses in the beginning of the year that you were talking about, they were they were just terrible. They're just bad losses. We just gave up at the end of games. We couldn't hit shots. I mean, that caravan stretch of like him at one point he was like 32-4 or 4-32.
Yeah,
Like
he couldn't
what?
buy one.
I mean, we can't. I mean, you can't win games when you're giving up that many possessions. Like that's insane. So I think that had a lot to do with it. I think McNeely's pretty consistent. Ball's pretty consistent. Reed stepping up. Stewart is really good. But it comes down to Caravan. I mean, if he is hitting shots, we win games. It was the same last year. I mean, obviously the team was way better last year, but it was the same last year. Like we could turn games around with him if he starts to get hot from three and he's
Yeah,
making jump shots in those little, he likes to get to the foul line, do a little floater over the center. That's a good play. He misses them all the time. They back rims out all the time. But if he's
yeah.
making those,
And
we win
even last
games.
night, I mean, last night, the first half, he couldn't buy one,
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
like he picked it up in the second half and he was able to find it, which has kind of been his MO the last few games, where like even in the first half he won't really make that much, but then in the second half he finds it. So if he can keep doing that, I think solo ball and um fucking I'm blanking on his name.
McNeely,
McNeely, thank you. They are both dogs. Like they
they are
are
good.
ball players.
Yes, they are.
Like McNeely can get to the rim and finish like as much as like anybody, like as
Yeah.
good as anybody, and he's only a freshman.
Yeah.
And then
And
solo
not
ball,
just
solo ball is like the guy that's like, if you need a tough three to either cut their momentum or to build some of our own, he's the perfect guy to do it because he just makes those
yep.
shots in those big moments. Diarra is
Yeah.
the ultimate glue guy, the ultimate leader. He is
He's really
definitely the
good.
backbone of this team, and he's a little bit banged up. So I think
Yeah.
like he's had to take a little bit of a back seat. Like Mahaney will have to step up, and
Yeah.
they've been kind of waiting for him to. So this is like the perfect opportunity. Played a good game last night,
He did. He did play well. He had a few
and I
bad
think the
possessions.
the tandem between Samson Johnson and Reed has been good because when Samson
Yeah.
Johnson hasn't been playing good, Reed has been playing incredible. And like last night, Reed really didn't show up, but Samson Johnson was playing very good. So like
Yeah.
if they could both play good at the same time, that'd be awesome because we'd be unstoppable.
Yeah.
If you
No,
can
I
get if you can get Samson Johnson in the game, they do that pick and roll play with Diarra where he tosses him a lob. They
yeah.
they run that play to absolute perfection, and teams never pick up on it. I'm like,
I
they do this play
know.
every single game. How does no one see this coming?
But why don't they do it more? Like, holy shit. Like every time they do it, I'm like, that the easiest basket of all time? Do
Yeah,
this.
because
Do this play.
Samson Johnson, I think, is so quick and so long that like he's really bad offensive matchup for a lot of teams because they have those big guys that just aren't as fast, and
Yeah.
he can get down the lane pretty quickly. I think on the defensive end, he struggles a little bit with those big guys just because
Hmm.
like he's not able to like really take the contact and like be good on defense, and he fouls a lot. But that's where you
Yeah.
have Reed. Like Terrace Reed is a monster, dude.
He's a big fucker. Yeah, for sure.
When he gets those blocks, like I'm like, holy shit, dude. Like he's a nightmare. And then like if you get him going on the offensive side, he's kind of the best player in the like in the I don't know, in the
Yeah.
conference.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I mean, you got sixth man of the year. Um,
Yeah. He
but
sh- he
he
should be a
is
starter, but
yeah, should be a starter. I mean, last year when Klingon would come out of games, Samson Johnson, like I would get excited when he got in game. Like he is very good. And maybe it was the offense last year being really good and drawing attention away from him that allowed him to be a little bit better. But I did expect a little bit more out of him this year. He shows flashes of greatness of what he showed last year, but I don't think he's like the same player. I think mostly it has to do with they don't have to deal with a bunch of threats.
yeah.
Like they don't have to deal with Cam Spencer. I think McNeely could be a Cam Spencer.
Cam
Like
Neely is Cam Spencer, just bigger and like he's just bigger.
he's just not as automatic. Cam
Yeah.
Spencer, he got us out of like if the team went on like if they scored like 6 points in a row, you can count on Cam Spencer to, get around his little screen, get to the foul line, and either throw a lob or make that jump shot every time. So like that was
Yeah,
huge
but
for
like
us.
then you just got to remember that he's a fucking freshman. Like imagine what
Yeah,
he's
no,
going to be
true.
next
No,
year.
definitely.
If
Definitely.
if they can win a couple games in the tournament, get some of that good solid you know, experience under his belt and he comes back next year and like really hones it in, like he's going to be the best player in the country. I think he's very capable of doing that. If you're one of
He
the best players in
definitely
the Big
could.
East, you're easily one of the best players in the whole Division 1. So like he definitely has that capability. It's just going to ultimately be if he can be consistent.
I agree.
And he got hurt this year, so like there was some time off where that may have hurt him a little bit, but I mean, he came back and was just as good as he was before he got hurt, so that was good. Um,
Yeah. No,
but
for sure. Yeah, no, he definitely has a lot to offer. I'm terrible with this shit. I don't know if he's gonna get drafted. I don't know. Well, like, yeah, I
I
don't know if
think
he's like
because he
draft
got
eligible
hurt,
again.
it would hurt his draft stock a little bit just because they haven't seen him as much as like
Yeah.
some of these other guys, like Sears and uh, like like guys like Broom from Auburn, like guys like that, like uh, the guy from St. John's, Poplar from Villanova. Some of these guys
Yep.
like are gonna
Yeah,
be like
Poplar's
first
good.
round. Yeah, they're gonna be like first round talent. I think there's a lot of good talent going into this draft. I think it would be dumb for McNeely to leave now.
I always agree with that. I always think they should stay, but I'm biased. I don't know
Yeah,
why you'd
obviously
want
it
to play
would.
in the NBA, bro. Play in college. This shit is fun.
Yeah,
It must be so fun.
it's way
And
better.
like now you're getting paid. I mean,
Yeah,
McNeely is a 5-star recruit. UConn is back-to-back champs. Like he's definitely getting a bag. I don't know if that's like public information, but I assume he's getting a bag.
the one player that I think might leave is Solo Ball, and it would be unfortunate. I
Yeah,
hope he would stay one more because if he stays next year and is again one of the top players, like I think he would go pretty high in the draft next year.
yeah,
Um, he's only a sophomore. This is his first year really getting that first team reps and like being a starter, and he's been
yeah,
phenomenal. So like he's been one of the best 3-point shooters in the Big East and Division 1. So like he's got that he's got that ability. I think like
yeah.
if he's just got to stay. And you're right, I'm biased because I like UConn and I think that they're going to be sick
But
if like
like,
everybody
I
stays.
yeah, yeah. I think if everyone stayed one more year, like all these guys with one more year under their belt, like we would definitely be a very good team. And
Cuz
I think we are a very
Carabin
good
can stay
team.
too. Carabin's only a
I know.
junior. So
It's
like
insane. If I know Caravan. I don't know, bro. I don't know what to do with him. I
I
really
don't
don't
think he's
know.
good enough to be in the NBA. Well, like he's good
No,
enough to be
I
in the
don't think.
NBA,
No,
but I don't think he's
definitely
good enough to be I don't know, to be
not.
like the guy that says I'm going to leave. Cuz he said he was going to leave last year and then he said no, then he
I
came back
I
on
thought
it.
he tried. Oh yeah, I thought he tried twice. I thought he went
Oh, I don't know about the
the
year
like.
before, but I know last year he said he was going to go in the NBA draft and then he didn't. So,
Yeah, I mean, you're getting paid money. College is fun. Fucking just chill.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know why. I don't know. That's. I mean, I understand the argument of like you don't want to get hurt and then like jeopardize your entire NBA career. So like, I totally get that. And like when they leave, I'm not like surprised.
Yeah, like
But like,
Klingen leaving I totally understood. He won back to back.
yes, I
He
agree.
won back to back and was the top player his second year. Like if you were
Yeah,
to come back a third year, like I do like if they lost last year, like maybe he would have thought more about coming back, but I think he was like, listen, like if we come back and win another one, it's not going to do much for me. Like I'm at the top right now. So I get
yeah,
that. Um yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Um
I don't know. So
who's the
like,
other
they're
guy
not
that
really
left? Not Cam Spencer, not Tristan Newton. Who was the other guy that left? That I was surprised that he
Jordan
left.
Hawkins.
No. That was the year before.
Oh, last year.
He was like
I
solo
don't.
ball. He was fuck. Forgetting his
I
name,
don't know. I'm
dude.
getting the teams mixed up now. I wanted to say Tristan Newton, but I think that was also Neymar. I don't know. Yeah. You know, it was crazy that who left was Andre Jackson. I don't know how you go to the NBA with no jump shot. Does anyone understand that?
He was
He's like
one
super
of
athletic and like maybe high basketball IQ, like distributed the ball well. He doesn't have a jump shot. Like teams would literally play off him because he can't make a jump shot. I don't understand how he gets drafted to the.
Stephon Castle.
Oh,
He
so good, the
he was so
freshman.
good.
Oh my
I was
god,
upset that
he was
he
so
left.
good. Me too. Of course I was. But yeah, no, that made sense. I mean, he was in the dunk contest for the Spurs. Looks good. I'm a big fan of that guy.
Yeah, and I think like
I wish him the best.
him and Solo Ball have a lot of similarities. So I would have
I
liked to
agree.
see him stay another year. So I hope Solo Ball stays because like it would have been like seeing uh Castle stay because they have a
Yes.
lot of similarities. But I'm excited, dude. I think UConn, if they keep playing good, could make another deep run. I don't expect them. I don't expect them to make a deep run, and I don't expect them to win by any means
No,
because I don't think that they have. I don't think that they have it this year, and they've
they
showed
don't.
signs that they do have it. But like compared to last year and the year before, this team is really like 1/3 of that team. Like the team last year was one of the best college basketball
Definitely.
teams I have ever seen.
Absolutely.
So like
Absolutely. That is
to
that
go
is
from
100%
that
true.
to what they have now, they've already like surpassed my expectations. Like especially
Yeah.
after the year started with the 3 losses in a row in the Bahamas or wherever that was. That was just like
Yeah. Yeah.
after that I was like, "Oh, maybe we're just going to have an off year." Like and it's fine. Like all of our
Yeah.
starters left, like it's fine.
Yeah.
And then like I don't know, the magic of Dan Hurley, bro. He whipped them into shape. They started winning.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. I
think
mean, and those games weren't blowouts, and I think it was Hawaii, but they weren't
yeah,
blowouts. I
Maui, I
mean,
think, yeah.
yeah, yeah, and they were definitely scary, but they did show like flashes of being really good in those games. So I wasn't completely worried after those games, but definitely after after the Christmas break, I was like, okay, like this team's not gonna go far, but like I'm excited for the future. Which I have no pressure. You win back to back, and winning a three-peat, I would not expect. I don't expect that from
Yeah, like
anyone.
back
I
to
don't
back
even know how
is hard
back to
enough.
back's insane. Right? Yeah. No, I'm completely satisfied. So even if we were dog shit this year, I'd be fine with it. I mean, I just wouldn't watch the
Yeah, because
games.
they lose the 3 in Maui and then they come back and then they win 8 in a row. They beat like
Yeah.
Baylor, they beat Gonzaga. Who else did
Yeah.
they beat?
They
I
beat
mean, and then they went into Big
and then
East
they
play,
lost to
won their
Creighton.
first 4 in Big East play. They lost a
I
close one to
know.
Villanova. You know
I
what?
went to the Creighton game. They lost to Creighton. That one hurt.
Yeah, because they had some really good wins and they follow it. So they had a 3 game stretch of Marquette, St. John's, Creighton, and they won 2 out of 3. So like that
Yeah,
was really good. And then
that was really
you
good.
beat Creighton in Creighton, and then you come back and you lose to Seton Hall in overtime. That
I
was, I think,
know.
if they won that Seton Hall game, I think that they'd be ranked right now.
I agree. I agree that they'd be ranked. That is a really bad loss. That loss doesn't do too much for you, but it does a lot against you. That's a bad loss.
Yeah, because
I think they should
if
have
they
beat them
had
like
that,
handedly.
yeah, because if
But
they had
that
that, they
was
would have had 2 wins against Creighton and 2 wins against Marquette. And like maybe if they won one of the games against St. John's, I know the first one was close, the second one was a blowout. But if they won one of those against St. John's and then had those other wins and then had that Seton Hall win, they'd probably be like 20 to 25 right now, ranked easily. And it wouldn't be
yes.
like oh they're on the bubble into the tournament. Like it'd be more of like they were either a 3 or a 4 seed rather than an 8 seed. But I think
Yeah.
like it's all part of their character. Like the character, I love the character of this team. I love Dan Hurley. Like
Love.
I think Dan Hurley is a psycho, and I love it, dude. Like I love the fact that he's such a psycho. Like they put they he
He is. I mean, I don't know how you ref his games, bro. He is screaming at that ref the entire game. If I was a college ref, I would fucking hate Dan Hurley. I would give you no calls.
yeah, they probably
I
do.
he is a pit bull. He should be
Yes,
on a leash tied to a pole. I mean,
yes,
he is fucking insane
yeah,
on that bench. It's crazy. I don't know how. I mean, obviously it's successful, but I mean, it's it's wild, and it definitely shows it in the team. I mean, they make 1 3, they are fucking amped. They're down by 9 to Villanova. They make 1-3, and they're telling the crowd to like pump up. Villanova calls a timeout. They're screaming when they go to the bench. I'm like, these guys are like, what are they
They're
on? It's just
unhinged,
like
dude.
the Dan Hurd, that energy definitely rubs off on them. It definitely goes to their success. Like it definitely helps them.
And you look at
But
some of their
they
practices.
are they are crazy.
He's the same exact way in practice, if not worse. Like
Yeah.
they have like that 60 minutes just came out about him, and there's a E60 coming out about him tomorrow, and he's like, if you think
there
we're
is. I didn't
insane
know.
on the court, you would hate practice. That's his quote. That is a direct quote from his interview that he did. He
That's
said,
so funny.
if you think we're intense on the court, you would hate our practices. And then it shows clips of him from practice. He's like on his knees yelling at guys. He punts a ball into the stands. I'm like, dude, that is insanity. I would love to
I'm
just
excited to
follow him
watch
with a
that.
camera all day and like
Yeah.
mic him up. I want him mic'd up
Yeah.
during the games. I want to hear the
I want
grotesque
to.
shit he is saying. I want to hear it,
I want
dude.
him mic'd up at home, bro. I want to know how he is in the house. Like, what is his wife like?
All his superstitions
Is
that
he
he
like
have where he
that?
has to wear the same clothes.
And oh my god,
It's like, dude,
yeah. It is nice to have a guy like that, and he is just basketball. Like he is there for the kids. He's there to win, and he's there to support his players. Like he will do, and he will die on that court. So it is really, he's a really good coach. I hope we keep him forever. I
yeah.
think he's very attractive. Definitely in the NIL deal. I think a lot of teams can kind of offer the same amount of money. But maybe it comes down to coaching. I think he's an attractive coach to want to play for. I mean, not that other coaches aren't, but I think like if I was a player, obviously I'm super biased, but I think Dan Hurley is a coach that I'd want to play for.
Yeah, I think definitely. And that's why they've been able to get McNeely. That's why they were able to get Solo Ball. Like, that's why they're able to get
Yeah.
these guys because they won back to back. And like you look at him and you're like, that is definitely a guy I want to play for. If you have
Yeah.
that winner's mentality and you're not a diva, that is definitely a guy you want to play for because you know he's going to put you in the best spots to win.
Yeah.
That's why it's
Definitely.
so attractive to come here. And them
Yeah.
winning
I
back to
think
back
that's
was very key because it's not like he
Yeah.
does this and they don't win. Like he did this and came in and they won immediately. And it's like that is
right.
what we need. Like in
Yeah.
players are going to want to play for him for sure.
Yes. No, definitely. I think that was the only reason it was close for Cooper Flag was early. Like I think if you have the chance to play for Duke and all the other recruits that they were getting, like it's kind of a no-brainer if you're the best player in the country. But
Yeah.
I mean, for him to even consider UConn was crazy. So
Him getting hurt
I mean,
sucks.
I
I
assume it
hope
was
that
the money.
I hope that he's good and can play.
Yeah.
I don't know if they said anything.
I
Yeah,
mean, I don't root for injuries. Obviously, I hate him because he didn't choose us and he plays for Duke.
Yeah, he's so
And so
good
I
though.
hate him. But he is unbelievable at basketball. He's definitely super, super good.
I know that they said he's out for the rest of
That's
the ACC, but I think it was just like a sprained ankle. So I think hopefully he'll be like because they're gonna be a number 1 seed going into the tournament. So maybe they could keep him
Yeah.
out for like that first game and like he'll get a good like 2 weeks off. So
Yeah,
hopefully he'll be
I agree.
good.
Yeah, rehab him. If you want to make a deep run, for sure, rehab him. You don't need. I mean, the ACC would be cool to win. Who cares? Just win your championship. Like, just win it all. That's really all that should matter. So, and Duke is plenty capable of winning that conference without him. I don't think that should be an issue, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah,
I don't know.
they're playing
I
they're playing right now and they're playing UNC and they're kicking their fucking ass. So like
yeah. Well, UNC is fucking terrible. They're so bad.
yeah, they've been kind of on the decline, but
Definitely after Roy
Duke
left.
definitely owns them now.
Oh yeah, I mean it's not even close.
It was like it was close there for a minute, like between like I don't know 2009 and like 2018. It was like the most intense rivalry. But now I think UNC might own them a little bit. They might own their butt.
Definitely.
Who's your biggest like sleeper team to win the whole thing? A team that nobody's talking about.
Sleeper team?
Doesn't have to be a
I
team.
don't know. No one's talking about them, but I think Oregon.
Okay.
Oregon. However you say it. I don't know. I don't watch all of their games, but uh just based on the game that they've won and been able to win, I think that team is like could do it. Uh I don't know. I don't really have a good I don't really have a good argument for them. Um
I'd say my top two would probably be like of sleeper teams would be Michigan State. Probably Michigan State and Florida. Those are my two teams that I feel like if they were to make a deep run, if not go to the championship, I would not be surprised. Michigan State has been very good this year, and like people have kind of talked about them, but I feel like they're not getting like the credit that they probably deserve since they've been
yeah,
kind of bad the past few years. And like like people were like, Tom Izzo, but like if Tom Izzo can take this team to like a Final Four, like I know he's a Final Four fucking machine. If he can take this
yeah,
team to a championship, like I think like that would be
that's
really
a
good
really
on
good
his.
pick.
If he could take them to winning the championship, I think that that would be insane. Like I think that would be really good
Yeah,
for his
it would definitely
legacy.
be out of nowhere. It would definitely be out of nowhere. Like I definitely have not been considering Michigan State as a threat or someone who could win it. Um, but I mean, Tom Izzo's been there before. He runs a
Yeah,
good program over there. Um,
I think coming down the stretch, they just had really like they won. They had 4 games in a row against ranked opponents. They beat Purdue, Michigan, Maryland, Wisconsin, won against Iowa, and then beat Michigan again. And that's all against top 25. Like Purdue was 13, Michigan was 12 at the time, Maryland 16,
yeah,
Wisconsin 11, and then Michigan was 17 when they beat them again. Like to end the year that way is like gives you the ultimate momentum into the big thing. You know what I mean? Into the
no,
big
definitely.
dance. The March
Yeah, no,
dance.
those are very impressive wins. I I mean, I wouldn't be. I mean, I would definitely be surprised if they won, but I think that's a good pick. Definitely. I mean, I don't think you want to pick number ones in the tournament. It's not that fun when your team loses, but also it's college basketball. Like you just need like every team does go cold like one game. Like they will just not be able to hit shots.
We've
So
seen
like
it time and time again.
I think that's where St. John's actually like as I'm making this argument, St. John's is like a really good team because I think their defense actually can win them games. Like that press, forcing that offense to be really quick against the shot clock. Um, they defend really well. They do foul sometimes, but they are usually very good. Um, so like, but like every team, like Duke will go cold in the tournament. Like there will be a game where they can't hit shots. Like so, and then is the other team hot? It just depends. Like if the other team is also cold, then they'll win. But like you just have to get hot at the right time.
Yeah,
Like
the teams
it's
that have
crazy.
the teams that don't have the best put together team and just have individual talent are very
Yeah.
um very like susceptible to upsets. Like
Yes.
that's why like I don't really trust Alabama as much. Like I wouldn't trust Duke as much. I wouldn't trust I mean,
Yeah.
some of these teams that have like these guys, like I wouldn't trust Villanova as much if they got in. Like I wouldn't trust these teams that have these guys that like you rely on them so much. Whereas like you're right, like a St. John's, like I mean, even Auburn has like Broom and I don't.
Yeah.
I think if he probably could have an off night and they lose, you know what I mean? Like it's very easy to do that. But you have teams like St. John's, you have teams like UConn, you have teams like Michigan State, you have teams like I don't even know, like some of these other SEC teams like Florida, like they're just good teams with like good coaches, and like you're right, like the defense will always win. Teams like Marquette,
Yes.
they're losing right now, but I think if they lose this game to St. John's, they'll probably still get in. I think that they're probably going
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a maybe a 9 seed. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I'm not worried about Marquette. I think they actually are a very good team. But that's a team where if they go cold, they lose games.
Yeah, same thing with like
Definitely.
like Creighton. Like Creighton, if they're
Yeah.
not hot from
Great.
three, if they're not making
Yes.
threes, they're a very bad team.
I agree.
And
And
like,
I think UConn's the same way. I don't think our defense can win us games.
yeah, I think UConn's defense has probably been their biggest weakness, especially in that stretch where they were like winning games, losing games. Their defense didn't
Yeah.
hold up. But I think as of
It was
late, it's
actually
been
nice to
better.
see last night. Last night, Villanova was missing shots, not because of our defense, but our defense was very good. We were committing some fouls, but I was very impressed with our like last 10 minutes of the game defense. I thought it was very good. It was better than most defenses that I've seen this year from them.
Yeah,
Um,
that's why
but
I
yeah,
like
like
St.
Michigan
John's
State,
so
I think
much.
does have a good defense too. Yeah, St. John's I think is awesome, but Michigan State, like that's a good pick because they do have a good defense. Like that's not a totally rely on individual talent team. I think yes, they have to be hot, but I don't know. I think that's a good pick.
Yeah, I think
Um,
that's why I can't wait for
oh
next week to
no,
just start making brackets out the ass, dude. Like,
I know.
we'll
I know.
probably
I got my
make one
email
next
from work
week.
today.
Oh, about a bracket, like a work one.
Yeah, like a bracket contest. And I was like, it's starting.
I think I came in like
Of course, I'm
third
the
last year, and
busiest.
I won money last year. I had two brackets win last year. I was 3 and
Really?
4. Yeah,
Oh my
and one of them,
god.
and I had both of the championships in both of them. So I was like, either way, I win money. Like, let's go, because one of them I had Purdue winning, and one of them I had UConn winning. So like
Yeah,
going into the championship, I knew I won money. That was a nice feeling.
that is very nice. Yeah.
Um,
I don't know if I've ever done one for money, but the past 2 years I've done one with my family, like the bracket challenge. And of course, my mom, dad, and my my aunt, they all went to UConn. So like everyone in the bracket is choosing UConn, and like we're all
yeah,
fans.
and
So like I think it was like a tie.
so
It like
many
came down
people
to
picked UConn.
tiebreakers. Like we didn't so many people last year they were the heavy favorite.
It's
They
like
were the
something like
heavy
almost
favorite.
20% of all brackets had UConn winning or something
It
like that.
was yeah, no, that wasn't even close. That's a cool feeling because we don't, I mean, growing up watching UConn, we were never that heavy of a favorite, although we've won a good amount. But like I mean, compared to just the prior year, I mean, when we beat I think it was San Diego, it was SDSU in the final. I mean, like they weren't like a super heavy favorite. Like they weren't supposed to win it all.
Yeah, I
And
think
like,
they lucked out a little bit in their bracket because SDSU
yes,
wasn't the best team, and they were on a Cinderella run, and we kind of like, I don't know, maybe their gas tank ran out in the championship, and we were able to beat them pretty easily. Like, it really wasn't that much of a sweat in that game. And
no,
then
it wasn't.
this past year, the tournament was like, it was never even a sweat in any of the games. Watching
Yes,
UConn
yeah,
play,
yeah.
it was one of the most
I mean,
dominant
we
runs
went
I've
on
ever
a
seen.
most dominant runs I've ever seen. Where there was a one half of that game. They came out in the second half. They scored what, like it was like 20 straight points.
Yeah,
They
against
went on like a
Illinois.
22-5 run. Yeah, 22-5 run or something. My friend DJ actually went to the game because it was at the Garden. But I mean that you can't compete with that. Like that, the ability to score 20 straight points is like they
That
were
was the
so much
perfect
better than their opponents.
It was the perfect example of having the best defense, but also able to score a million points. Like, usually
Yeah,
teams have one or the other, and like
yeah,
it was so sick just to see a team put it all together at the same time. Like, you never
yeah.
see that.
I know. And if it wasn't Purdue in the finals, like it wouldn't have even been something to watch. Like Purdue was definitely the best team that we could have played. Zach Edey was awesome,
Yeah,
but and he did go off in that game.
yeah.
But we didn't even care that he was scoring. We would go down on offense. We were scoring at will in the championship game. It was
And
very,
it
very
goes to
fun
the
to
point
watch.
of
Very
like, you
cool.
can't rely on those teams that have one guy,
Right.
because
Yeah, exactly.
they could even score 35, but if the rest of the team isn't holding their weight, you could still lose.
Yeah. Yeah. You need to be able to stop. You need to have defense. And like these offenses aren't super sophisticated. They don't have like these like crazy systems like the NBA. So like that St. John's press, just wasting, 6 seconds off the shot clock, taking away like, an extra maybe 4 seconds. Like that's big for these college teams. Like just rushing that offense puts them in a worse spot. Um, so like I think that shit works. Like St. John's is definitely a team that like you definitely have to watch out for.
Yeah, And like
But
it's yeah, the difference between like college and NBA is like the guys are so young, so it's so energy based that
yeah,
like I think that's what makes it so exciting to watch is because like these guys are putting their all into it.
yeah.
And like the NBA, you just don't get that feel ever.
No, you don't.
So like I
I
think
know.
that's what entices me so much about college basketball.
I know. I even watched that. I was kind of working during it, but I was watching the OKC Boston game, which was like finals preview, supposed to be like a really good game, and it was a really good game. I mean, SGA went for like over 30. Um, but like the last quarter, like it just seemed like it was like close, kind of back and forth. They were down six, and then all of a sudden they were down 10, and it was 2 minutes left, and then like that was it. Like that was the
Yeah,
game.
nobody gives it's almost like
Like
they accept
it
it
like they
when
didn't even. Yeah, exactly. Like I was like, there was no fight in that. Like I don't know. Like the end of college games, if they're within 6 points, like it's fucking intense. Like these guys are going hard, crowds into it.
yeah, and then
So you're
a
definitely
guy
right.
makes like an off balance fadeaway three and then it's a 3 point game
Yeah,
with like 8.9 left and you're like, holy shit,
yeah.
like this is like
And the
insane
crowd's
now.
going nuts. I
Yeah,
mean, not that
that
the
doesn't
crowd
happen
at
in the
TD.
NBA.
Yeah, I mean I think the Boston crowd you do get like good reactions. I mean, I don't think it's as intense, but I mean that TD's jamming for every Celtics game. I mean, this city loves the Celtics. People love going to those games. But I think overall NBA like you don't get stadiums like that.
No,
Like, you don't
definitely
get that
not.
intensity.
Because yeah, you're right. It's like they almost accept it when they're down 10 in the fourth quarter. The
Yeah, they're
the
like,
fourth
oh, it's
quarter,
over.
like 7 minutes left, they're down 10. Like they're taking out the starters.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like,
like
dude, like
why?
you could still win this game. Like you're the best players in the world. You could still win this game, and like they just don't
Yeah,
care. They don't care. They're like,
they
what's
just
another
don't.
loss?
Yeah,
And
they're
maybe it's just because
literally
they
like
play so many. Maybe it's because they play so many regular season games and like whatever. But at the same time, it's like they have the energy to. They have the energy to do it. Like it's. I don't know. I think there's a big
I
problem right now with the
agree.
NBA. The NBA has a big problem. People are starting to like turn on them, and I think they made it up a little bit because the Lakers and Celtics game recently broke some. It was like one of the highest rated NBA games regular season of all time. But like
Yeah,
ever since that Four Nations shit with the NHL, like people really started to look at the NBA in a different light and see like they're like see these
yeah,
other sports that are doing stuff to like make their product better, and you're just continuing to give us the same bullshit and like guys with
yeah.
load management like guys don't give a fuck like it's
Guys don't give
really
a
bad
fuck. I
product.
mean,
It's no one wants to watch it,
yeah.
dude. I don't want to watch a
I
regular season NBA game.
no, you don't.
It's
I mean, especially the first three quarters.
yeah, the first three quarters are dog shit. It's
I'll
just
watch
guys
it
going
for
back and
Malika
forth shooting
Andrews at
threes, dude.
halftime.
It is
Yes, literally.
it's literally pick up basketball in the first three quarters, and like sometimes it happens to be close in the fourth quarter, and then they start trying.
It's so. I mean, as like a die. I mean, obviously, I'm not a diehard fan, but I assume as a diehard like Celtics fan, to have to like turn on your TV and like watch that game, like, is that fun? Like, do you like doing that? Like, at least when the Bruins suck, yeah, it fucking sucks to watch, but I fucking love hockey, and at least it's a fast, intense game that, like, at least bodies are flying. Okay,
Yeah,
my team is playing lackluster, but like, I feel like NBA, like, even if it's a good game, it's not that good to watch. But I mean, I'm biased. I don't know. I love hockey,
I'm biased too,
but
and I love hockey, but you can kind of zoom out and look at the products for what they are, because I
yeah,
love college basketball a lot. So it
exactly.
proves that
Yeah,
like basketball, like I can watch basketball and be entertained by basketball. It's like I'm like
yeah,
I like basketball as a sport. Like I played it growing up, and I love the sport. But like, yeah, you look at the NBA games and you're like, dude, this is just not like a vibe that you get of like a competitive. Whereas like you
yeah,
watch the NHL, like the guys are going out there and competing their fucking asses off, and then you watch Big East basketball, they're playing their fucking asses off. Like that
yeah.
translates, and that's
Right.
why it's falling behind. And
Yeah.
it becomes so slow, and maybe it's just because we're new generation, our attention spans are dog shit, like they love to say. But like
No.
it's just like I don't know. It just like the product is not good.
It is not. So what do you think? Like, do you have any ideas how they could make it better? Like, what
I
should they
th-
even do?
it's hard because it ultimately comes down to the players. It's like, but
I agree.
they've let the players kind of like walk all over them. It's like this
Yeah,
whole like load management thing, and be like, now what they're starting to do in some of the contracts are, you get
yeah,
this amount if you play this percentage of games, which I think is good. I think that they should keep
yeah.
doing that, because you can't have people like Kawhi Leonard barely play the regular season and then show up for the playoffs. Like, you can't have that. It's like a guy
Joel
working and
Embiid, what is he?
you take PTO the whole year and you only come in when it's busy.
Yeah,
It'd be like you
like
only
Joel
showing up during
Embiid.
tax season.
Right.
And it's like, dude,
No,
there's
definitely.
other work to do.
Yeah.
We have to make the
No.
playoffs. That's a big part of it.
Yeah. So I think that's definitely a big thing. Contracts, like the guaranteed money, has to be limited. I don't want to penalize guys for getting injured. Like I obviously getting an injury sucks. Like you shouldn't be docked pay. It's not like your fault, but also you have an obligation to like the fan base and the team. Like they are paying you money. You need to play the game. Like that's not I don't think that's a crazy notion. So like I definitely think contracts should change. I agree with you on that.
And I think maybe like a lot of it too is like basketball is such like a big, it's big personalities like KD, Kyrie, LeBron, like Luca.
Yeah,
Like, it is a very star heavy league, which I get,
it's
like, and that's what you need. But like right now, it's too much. It's too much on the stars, because like when you look at like LeBron is fucking 40. Like, LeBron is
yeah,
gonna be gone soon. Like, KD is gonna be
right.
gone soon. These guys can't play the minutes that they used to play. So like, what does the next generation look like? And I love SGA. I love Luca. I
Love
love all of these guys that like,
our new.
besides him being a convicted felon and crackhead, like, I love John Morant. Like, I think he
Yeah,
plays
I
really
know,
hard.
I
Like,
know.
I
I don't know
mean,
why he takes pictures with guns, but
he loves taking pictures with guns. I
I
don't know what
I
that
don't get that.
is. He loves
Just
threatening
do the gun
people.
off. I know, like do it off camera, maybe. Like
And maybe it's just because
I don't
he's in
know.
Memphis. I don't know. But like, it's
I
like,
have no idea.
it's gonna have to be like these new young guys come in and take some of that. And I think what would help is some of these college coaches going into the NBA, like Rick Pitino, like Dan Hurley. Like, I think if they were to go into the NBA, I think you would start to see it slowly get ingrained into the NBA. But like, it's got to be the
Would you
players.
though? Would you though?
The
I
players have to
I
buy
mean,
in. The players have to buy in, and
yeah,
that's just what it is. You
exactly.
have to start changing the culture of the game itself.
Exactly. No, I don't know if coaches I don't know if coaches can do that. I thought of maybe shortening the season. I think I mean, I'm not that it should go as short as college ball, but I think college basketball, like every game matters. Like after the first 2 months, you're into conference play. Every single one of those games matters. If you want to make the tournament and you want to get a good seed, like
I think you definitely could.
it is playoff basketball since December. So like I love that, and that's why I think the college ball
Yeah, that's
gets
that's why it
such a
it ramps up. Like, you see the NBA start to ramp up. Like, a lot of these
yeah,
anticipated games start to get higher ratings towards the end of the season. It's usually towards the end of
right,
the season when everyone's trying to fight to get into the playoffs. And you're right. Maybe the
yeah,
answer is you shorten the season. Maybe make it 60, 65 games, and like spread out
yeah,
the games a little more. And maybe that would help a
yeah,
lot with the injuries if you spread the games out a little more. I don't know, but I
yeah.
think ultimately it's going to come down to the players buying in and the coaches actually coaching. Right now, coaches are not
Yes,
coaches. It's like,
I
that's the
agree.
other
I
issue.
agree. Yeah.
The
They're
reason,
like they're they're managers kind of like they just kind of manage personalities. That's kind of what I
yeah,
hear and understand.
because a
That
lot of the times
they
too, you bring a lot of star players in and they become the coaches, and it's like
right.
the reason why the Warriors were so good
The
is
coach.
when Steve Kerr got there. Because, yeah, the coach, when Steve Kerr got there, he built up a culture with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, and they built a system.
Right.
And a lot of people would blame that system on what's happening now in the NBA, because it was just raining threes pretty much, because they had Steph Curry and Klay
Yeah.
Thompson, and two of the best 3-point players of all time. But you can't. It's not going to work for everybody.
No, it's not going to work for everyone. You need the best shooter of all time on your team for
Right.
it to work. You need him to chuck up threes from the logo and they go in every time. Like,
And
okay,
it's like
okay, then it works.
that's why I think like the college coaches coming in would work because like look at the SEC. The SEC was terrible a few years ago. They bring in some really good coaches. They build up some good systems, and you look at like Baylor or not Baylor, like Kentucky was always like the go to the SEC, and then some of these
Right.
coaches, like the coach in Alabama comes in now, Auburn, now you have Florida. Like you have these teams that are all ranked now, and
Yeah,
a lot of it is the coaches coming in and building up the system.
definitely.
So I
Definitely.
feel like that
Coaches
could
have.
work in the NBA, but it would take a big undertaking. It would take a lot, I
Yeah,
think.
it would take a lot. I think it would take a lot more discipline. I don't know why I get the vibe. Maybe it's completely untrue that the NBA, the players are just more undisciplined. Like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
Like,
think
it
they've just
seems just
gotten
like in
lazy.
football. Yeah, like football, maybe because the games matter so much, those guys seem so driven and so disciplined that like you need every single guy in your roster to buy in, or you cannot win the Super Bowl. Like you can't go far if
Yeah.
everyone's not bought in. But it seems like NBA players, like I don't know, they seem like they don't really even care. Like, do they even care about winning a championship? Like, do they even want to win? Like,
I think that's the
I
only
don't
time they
really
do care is
get
when
it.
they get to the playoffs and then they start saying like, "Oh, we got to go win a championship." Like it's not an all season thing. And
Crazy.
there's three things that really work for the NBA or the NFL is the sport itself being so
Hmm.
intense. Like you cannot be lazy in NFL or you will get shit on.
Definitely.
And the fact that there's so many players, so every single player has to be playing really good for you to have a winning team. And three is like it's just the culture. The culture of football is you work your fucking ass off and you want to go out and break their fucking face. That is
Yeah.
the ultimate culture of the NFL. NBA has more of a laid back. It's always been kind of ingrained in like the hip hop culture, like which is good. Like that's like a good section of the culture to have, but it's just gotten
Yeah.
lazy and tired. It needs to go
Yeah.
back to being hardworking. That's what they
Yeah,
had.
I
That's what they
agree.
had in the '90s. Like you look at like those Detroit Pistons teams that would beat the fuck out of everybody. It's like
Yeah,
that was when the NBA was good. Is when people were beating the fuck out of everybody. And a lot of what's
yeah,
happened too is the game has gotten so like the
soft.
game itself has gotten soft. They need to start
Yes.
reforming how they call fouls. All of
Yep,
these different fouls that they have. If someone gets touched, it's a
definitely.
foul. Like you have to sort of lighten it up a little bit. I think.
I
Also,
agree.
make it
I
tougher.
agree. I don't think fans want to see players shoot from the free throw line. They don't want to see that. They
It's
want to
almost half the
see
game
like
now.
I know, but they want to see two guys go at it in the post and then someone get dunked on or someone get blocked or you know, I think that's what people want to see. Maybe the players like how it is, but
Yeah.
I know one kid who, like, I've met, he played professional overseas, and then talking, like, in interviews with, like, Jokic and, Luka, it seems like overseas basketball is way more physical, like,
It's
they
way
really
tougher.
don't call much. It's a lot tougher. So and I think they do get, like, good viewership. I don't actually know, it just
Yeah,
seems to
and
be kinda popular over there.
that's why they've caught up to us on the international level. I think that team that just won the Olympics, they would not have won without Steph Curry.
No, definitely not.
Steph Curry going
They
off in
don't,
that
but they
gold
didn't
medal
care.
game wouldn't like they would not have won without that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the problem right now is people just assume that we're going to win the gold medal right now. It's not as given as it used to be, especially with
No.
that like redeem team in 2010 or 2009 whenever that was, like the team with like
Mhm.
Kobe, LeBron, like KD, like
Crazy.
that team was insane. And it was because they started to catch up to us. And the same thing happened in 92 when they had to bring the dream team in. When they had to bring the dream
Yeah.
team in, USA basketball was at its lowest. Now it's like a necessity. It's a necessity to
Yeah.
put together our best team to even have a chance to win the gold. And like we have a really good chance to win the gold, but we need our best team to win us the gold. Whereas before it was
Yeah.
like we need our best team to go shit on everybody. They're not really shitting on everybody anymore.
Hmm.
These teams like
I
Serbia,
don't.
like France, Spain,
I
like
agree.
these teams are
Yeah.
really good. They have really good players.
Yeah. But like, if I'm like a new guy, like if I make Team USA or something, I think I'm just excited to make Team USA. Yay! Like in my mind, we've already won gold. Like this is gonna be simple. I get to play with some of the best players in the world. I don't really care. Like I'm not gonna play super hard. I'm just gonna have fun here. It's an international game.
Yeah.
I get to play with LeBron and Steph Curry. Like what the fuck? This is the best thing ever. So I think like that laid back, like that laid back like I don't know why I can't think of the word. Just being laid back in during like the regular NBA definitely translates to those Olympic teams, and like it almost gets worse because now you're playing with the best of the best. Like, oh, now like we super don't have to care because this is guaranteed. But like that's not what I don't know. Like that's not what people want to see.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know the way things are trending right now. 3 years from now, I don't know if we're gonna have the best team. Like you know what I
I
mean?
know
Like
it's
LeBron's
crazy.
not gonna be there. KD
I
probably
know
won't be there. Steph probably
Steph.
won't be there. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
what are
yeah,
we gonna do? The
yeah.
younger
That
generation of
interview.
U.S. basketball is not looking great.
Yeah. There's a clip of just like Team France talking about it, and they're like, "Oh, like we've all bought in, like we have a bunch of like chemistry, like all these guys want to be here and like we want to win for France." And then it like cuts to like KD like watching it and he's like, "That's not going to help you guard Steph." Like
Yeah,
it
and
doesn't matter.
that's a good
And it's
sound
true.
bite, but it only works so many times.
But it only works with Steph. It only works like I think you're right. Like once LeBron, Steph, KD, like once these guys leave, like this new generation needs to understand that you have to like this like it's only been this easy because the guys before you have been playing really hard. And if we keep trending towards this like super lax, then like you're definitely right. Like we're not it's not gonna be a given that we get gold. Like these other countries are good. Like
Yeah, because even it's only like a recent thing that like basketball has gotten so lazy. Like these players that are
yeah,
the top right now still came from a time where the NBA was really tough. Like even that run that the Warriors made where the Warriors were playing the Cavs, like the game was still really good at that point. It was getting soft, but like it was still really good quality basketball. And it's only like in the last, I don't know, probably since COVID or right before COVID was now we have this like lazy streak that they have to get out of, and it's starting to show in the ratings now because people are starting to move away because I don't know, maybe it's because like they're seeing more NHL games with ESPN, like they're starting to see the even like baseball,
right.
even baseball has gotten better with the whole pitch clock thing. Like
Yeah,
I was very skeptical of the whole pitch clock thing at first, but it's working. It's making the game faster, and
definitely.
that's what people wanted. They still have
Yeah,
too many regular season games, and like that's something that they need to fix.
yeah,
But like they did something and it worked, and it reflects in the ratings. Same thing with the NHL. The NHL took a big chance doing this Four Nations thing. It hit and it hit big. And now
yeah,
going into the whole playoffs, and you have
yeah,
Ovechkin breaking one of the all-time records. Like you have
yeah,
storylines now in the NHL that you didn't have before, and now the whole trade deadline thing was like a big thing to a lot of people. It's getting a lot more eyes now, and people are starting to really look at basketball and be like, "Wow, basketball does not have these things."
yeah. And it's crazy because they have some of the most like recognizable stars. Like I feel like out of those major sports, like people know basketball players the most, maybe football players, but like they don't capitalize on this at all. And it just seems like I don't know. It just seems like a huge missed opportunity because it is a great sport and it can be intense and they have all these superstars with all these personalities, but they just seem to do nothing with it. And like if you like you said, like NHL on ESPN, if you go if it's 8 o'clock at night and you turn on your TV and you're looking to watch a sports game, I mean for me, NBA is at the bottom. If all four major sports are on, NBA is at the bottom. I mean, obviously football's at the top, but that doesn't really count.
Yeah, I'd say
You know,
football's the
it's
top for me.
between I mean, I'm
NHL,
putting baseball now. Like I'm not really a baseball fan, but after the pitch clock, like the games aren't that bad. I mean, I'll watch a fucking baseball game. The NBA is
yeah,
just I don't know. Some of the games are like if it's Celtics Pistons, I'm not watching that game.
Yeah.
I'm not turning that game on.
Yeah, I think for
If the
me,
Wizards are playing,
MLB.
like, how can you tune into Wizards? It's crazy.
Yeah, I think MLB and NBA kind of for me are like at the same point, which before it was like NBA was way above MLB, and now it's like if I had to choose between an MLB game and an NBA game, I'm probably picking an MLB game. And it's
Yeah,
that sucks because like I don't know,
sucks.
baseball sucks. And it's like, dude, like
Baseball's terrible.
and it's yeah, it sucks because it's like now NBA is kind of like at that level. It's
Yeah,
like, dude.
but like even going to a game, like I think if I had a chance to go to, I'm right here, Fenway or the Garden. I fucking love Fenway. The
Yeah.
Red Sox games are a blast.
I think that's a
Celtics
good
games
thing.
are
That's
not
a
a
good thing that
blast.
baseball has too. The whole baseball going out to a ball game experience. I think going to a baseball
Yeah.
game is 1,000 times better than like watching a regular season
Yes.
baseball game. Like
Yeah.
they have that. Like the NBA does not have that. What you get on TV is the same you're gonna get if you go to an NBA game.
Right.
And I've gone to
I
an NBA
totally
game.
agree.
It's so fucking boring. Like it's so
It is.
boring
It is.
because number one, the
You
court.
just have a conversation for the first three quarters, and then if it's
Right,
close, you watch.
right. And
But
I've
then, like,
because like if you're in like the nosebleeds, which like we normally are because we don't have thousands of dollars, especially at the fucking
right? I
Garden.
know.
The you don't
I
realize
know.
how small the court is. So when you're in the nosebleeds, you can barely see what's happening, and
Yeah.
what you are seeing isn't exciting. It's just a guy shooting a three every time.
Yeah.
So like,
Every single time.
what you're better off watching it on TV.
Definitely. And it's crazy that the Garden is as sold out as it is for Celtics games. I mean, though it is fucking packed for every single game. It's just because maybe loyal fan base, but like I don't get it. The I've gone to one Celtics game and I was like very unimpressed. Like even if like I'm like a fringe NBA fan, but if and like I kind of hated it, but like I hear rave reviews from like fringe NHL fans or like fringe baseball fans. Like they love going to Fenway. People love watching hockey when they have no idea what's going on. Like you don't have to know what's going on. It's a fun sport to
There's been
watch.
I've talked to so many people that have said this exact sentence to me. I didn't know anything about hockey, but when I went to a game, I loved it.
Yeah, yeah. No, you hear it all the time.
I hear it
It's
all the time.
yeah.
I
No,
think
for sure.
hockey
I
has the best. Hockey has the best. Like, if you're gonna go to a game, hockey
yeah.
might be the best because football is like you're kind of far away most of the time,
It's probably cold.
and it's
I mean,
probably
we live in the
cold because it's the
Northeast.
winter time.
We live in the Northeast.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like if you go to a hockey game and you're kind of a fringe, like you know hockey a little bit, you're not totally like into it, and then you go to a game, you see how fast it is, you see how exciting it is. People are like, "Holy shit, why don't I watch this more?" And it all comes down to like
Yeah.
it's not on TV as much, and it's like
Yeah.
if it was just on TV, I think as much as the NBA, and like I don't know, I think it would be more successful. And then this year they've kind of
I agree.
proven that it's not on as much as NBA still, but it's more even now than it ever has been. And NBA is going down, NHL is going up. So like I think it's starting to prove itself.
Yeah. No, for sure. I it is cool too. Like the closer you get to an NHL game, the better it gets. The closer you get to an NBA game, not necessarily the better it gets. Like it is cool to
Yeah.
sit really close to the players, but like I don't know, it's just people shooting the
Courtside is
ball.
probably the best
Like
experience you could have in an NBA game, but you don't have
true.
$25,000. So
True. And it would be a lot better if people weren't just chucking threes from the logo. If you were getting big dunks in like crazy shit, then like it's fun to watch. But
yeah, if you could
I
see that
agree.
high intensity, like people driving the lane, like real body contact, like going
Yeah.
hard every play, like I think like it would make it a lot better if you were having a courtside experience. I don't think I
Yeah.
will ever know what a courtside experience looks like. Maybe
No,
someday, I
no
don't
way.
know. I'll never say never, but um
If I yeah, if I buy a house, pay it off, and then sell the house, maybe I'll have enough for a ticket.
it's like
If I
60
take out
grand.
yeah. Like what the fuck?
You're sitting next to like Drake. You're
I
sitting next
know,
to
I
some
know.
like fashion icon that's worth millions. Like you're sitting next to like
Yeah,
these crazy people at an NBA game.
yeah. No, yeah. That like that's the cool part too. They do get like celebrities like courtside. Like I don't. I don't get it. It seems like there's a lot there that they're just doing nothing with and like letting it deteriorate. Seems like they're letting it.
They're letting
Like
it
there were talks
deteriorate.
about like when Curry was like shooting all this shit, like Dame was going off and like, threes. People were like talking about like, oh, they should add a 4-pointer. Who the fuck wants to watch like people chuck balls? I was thinking go the opposite way. Not like actually, but
Take
like
away the
get
three
rid of the
point.
3-pointer. Yeah. What the fuck? You would get an intense fucking game. Take away the 3-point and like limit fouls. Fuck, it would just be guys fighting. Also allow fighting. It'd
Yeah,
be
they should
huge.
allow fighting, dude.
It would
I
be
mean,
huge for the
like
sport. Fuck
it
it.
does kind of happen naturally, like where guys like will get into like scuffles and shit, and it's like I like seeing that shit. And now it's like because like it
Yeah,
shows
I
that they
love
give
it.
a fuck. Like it shows that they give a
Yeah,
fuck and that they actually want to win. Like shit like that doesn't even happen anymore.
never. Literally never happens.
And it's like I don't
It's
know. It's so bad.
it's I don't know. It's annoying. That's what it is. It's annoying. But I do have the Celtics. I mean, obviously I picked the Celtics to win this year. The fuck
I
do I
think it's
know? But
them.
I
I
mean,
think
obviously OKC could do it. I actually like the Lakers. I'm a LeBron fan. I know he gets like, but like I am a LeBron fan. I think he's not like a cool guy because he seems kind of weird. But I mean, I think he's super talented, and obviously he's like
I think the
the best
Warriors.
basketball
I think the
player.
Warriors could do it this year. And if
Really?
the Warriors win this year, dude, like I think I talked maybe last time we talked about it, like last time we had the podcast. I think I talked if Steph Curry wins another one and he has 5, he's right there with Kobe and LeBron in terms of
Yeah,
like best
yeah,
ever.
for sure, definitely.
And I feel like
One of the,
people don't really
I'd
give
argue most
Kobe enough
impactful.
credit. Like people don't give Kobe enough credit. Like if Steph has 5, dude, like he's easily one of the best players ever.
People don't give Kobe enough credit. Like maybe it's like the Shaq rings, but like his last ring that he won, like that fifth one that he won, that team was dog shit.
Yeah.
That team was dog shit. Like if you go back and
And
look at those players, like
the same would go for
what?
when Curry beat the Celtics a few years ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
No, it was insane. I mean, he's insane. I mean, Steph Curry's insanely talented and obviously has the ability to win games single-handedly. But I mean, yeah, I think you're definitely right. Kobe doesn't get enough credit. If Steph gets 5 rings, he is top, I don't know. Is he top 5 players of all time? Top 10 players of all time?
I
I
think
don't really know. But
he's got to be at
best shooter
least
of all time.
he's got yeah, best shooter of all time I think undoubtedly. But I
Yeah.
think if he wins this year somehow and then maybe goes on and doesn't win anymore and like retires, like he definitely should at least be mentioned if you're talking about top 5 players of all time because
I agree.
what he would have had to do this year, like he's been playing insane still. Like he's not like it's like he's like dying off slowly and is like
Yeah.
kind of going away. Like maybe like last year and the year before they won, he was kind of like not really good. They're trying to figure out how to like make it work without Clay, without KD, like, and then they won against the Celtics, and you're like, damn, nobody thought they were gonna win, and Curry went out and won them that fucking championship, and it's like, damn.
He did.
He's like he pulled a
Yeah.
Kobe there. Like he pulled a Kobe where like he just willed them to a championship. And very
Yeah.
few players on this planet and who have played before were able to do something like that. Like Charles
Yeah.
Barkley was never able to do it. Steve Nash was
No.
never able to do it. Like you got to look at like
Yeah.
Tim Duncan, LeBron, Jordan, Bird, Magic, Kobe. Like those were guys that were willing their teams to like
Yes.
championships.
Yeah.
And I think Curry proved that he can do it. And
Yeah.
he's got the resume now. If he wins this year, it would just like catapult him. And like, dude, I love Steph Curry.
Absolutely.
So
Love Steph Curry. I think everyone loves Steph Curry. He's super entertaining to watch. When threes go in, it's super entertaining. When the entire team is chucking up threes and you're like 9 for 27, okay, that's not that fun to watch.
it's a
But when
lot
he's
different.
chucking up crazy threes,
It's
it's
a
fun.
lot different when he's doing it. I will say like,
It
and that
is.
may be
It is.
contradictory to say, but like it's a
That
lot
is.
different when Steph is doing it because it's almost like it's like electric when he does it. It's not out of
Yeah.
laziness.
Right.
It's because
Right.
he's
Like
the best
this
shooter
is
of
his
all time.
game. Right. And yeah, I mean, yeah, like Steve Kerr said it best. He's like, I had to change my way of thinking. I, like, Steph does not take a bad shot. Like, I am not upset when he is shooting because it's 40% chance from anywhere on the floor that it's going in. So, okay. So, like, he shoot, like, and that's cool. Like, for a coach to, like he's a completely new player that we haven't seen before. It's like it's entertaining.
And
It's
that's what we
cool.
talk about like coaches not being coaches. And like that was when Steve Kerr did not become a coach anymore. After they won the one
Right.
with like after they won the second one with Curry and Clay, that was when he stopped
Hmm.
being a coach because then they brought in
Hmm.
KD and they broke
He's
the
like, all
wins
right.
record. They win, and then they break the wins record and lose. They lost that, but he stopped being a coach. Then now he's literally just a babysitter. And
Yes.
like obviously this is
Yeah.
an exaggeration, but like he it's not like
But
it
like,
depends on
right.
him.
Like you're right. You're not teaching KD anything. He's he's like the best. If you give him an ISO, like he's the best one-on-one player, I don't know, ever. And
Yeah.
like, who the fuck is stopping KD? And then not only that, they have to guard Steph Curry. So like, what are you adding to that offense? Nothing. But if they go on like a slump, I understand. Like you're just a vibes guy. You're just trying to keep the locker room going, keep everyone focused. But yeah, you're right. Like he wasn't really a coach in like the normal sense.
All right, dude. You got anything else? We went for a while there.
Yeah, I don't even know what time it is. I have nothing else. Bruins suck. UConn is okay,
Please
but
God, let the Bruins miss the playoffs.
please God let the Bruins miss the playoffs. Please God, and
Just
all the
for our
best to
mental
Marchand.
stake.
Yeah, all the best to Marchand. I hope. I mean, I don't hope Florida wins. I hope he wins. But
Yeah, very
you know
well
what I'm
put.
saying.
If the
Yeah,
Bruins don't make the playoffs, I do hope that they win the whole thing. They would be the
right.
one. They
And
would
that
be my like team that I hope that I would want to see win.
I'm actually more. I'd be more excited for the playoffs if the Bruins don't make it. If
Yes,
that if that makes
because
sense.
I have to spend
Like,
so much of my mental capacity
yes,
when they play in the playoff games, and now that they're not good, it's like I feel like it would
yeah,
be wasted, and I can't just shut it off. That's the other thing. Like I can't like be
right,
like,
exactly.
fuck, they're gonna lose, but so I don't really have to be that intense. No, I'm gonna be just as
No,
intense as any other playoff
yeah,
game. I'm gonna be
yeah,
yelling at the TV, and it's
yeah,
gonna take every part of my heart when they lose. So
yeah.
I don't want that, and
I'm
I can just enjoy watching the playoffs.
Yeah. I want to sit back. I don't want to have the blanket over my head 2 inches from the screen.
Yes,
Rob Vose style. I
yes.
don't want to do that. So I want to sit back. I want to watch the Avs. I'm very excited for the Avs. I'm hoping for them. Winnipeg.
Yeah, if they win,
I'm
I'd be
really
happy.
rooting for Winnipeg.
I'd be really happy if Colorado wins for Charlie Coyle, and I'd be really happy for Florida if
Yeah.
Marchand wins. I fucking hate the Leafs, so I would not be happy for
Yeah.
Carlo, and
Oh,
the
yeah.
Leafs can go die. But
Yes. If the
and
Leafs
it's
get out in the first round, that's better than the Bruins getting into the playoffs by
isn't it funny that
far.
we say that and we've only beaten them, and then Florida we're like, yeah, they can win.
Yeah, they can win. No, the Leafs are completely different. The Leafs are completely different because the Leafs are like, I I like that it's because Florida, their fan base isn't like die hard.
Yeah,
They are just like all bandwagoners because they didn't know what hockey was.
yeah,
So, but the Leafs fans have grown up in Leafs, like they were born
and they think
maybe
that they're
in the
good.
stadium, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, and they think that they're
They
good.
think
Like
that
they
they're
have
good.
hope. It's fun to crush that much hope. I think it's like it's nice as an opposing fan. It's like soothing.
Yes,
And just yeah,
because
it's nice.
you know they're getting just as enjoyment out of watching us lose as we are
Yes.
watching them
Oh,
lose,
yeah.
which I can respect, but it's a
Yeah.
respect of like I fucking hate you. Whereas like
Right.
Florida's different because I don't hate the fan base. I hate the players on the team. Like I hate Kachuk, but at the same
Right.
time you're like, fuck, I respect him. Because like you know that if he was on your
Yeah.
team you would love him.
Right.
Like
I did love him for 2 weeks while he was on Team USA. I mean,
right.
The Kachuk brothers were electric. It was so fun to
Yes.
watch. And then he went right back to I hate him.
Yeah, and now he's hurt, but
Like I
like
hate.
it's. I hopefully he
I
can come
know.
back.
I really hope he comes back. I want to see like a full playoff. I hate injuries. I want to see teams at their
I think
best.
they're probably going to be cautious with him, and he'll probably just come back and be 100% for the playoffs. I think that would probably be
Yeah,
what they're doing. But oh
definitely.
man, I can't wait for the NHL playoffs, dude.
Yeah, they are the best. I love turning my TV on and seeing like three. You got like three games to
Oh
watch. And you got like the 7:30, the 8:30, and then like the 10:30 games. Like, oh, I love those.
yeah, get to stay
I'm
up late and
excited for
watch the
that.
West Coast games.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh,
Yeah, those are good. Work from home the next day, chill shit. It's
chill
nice.
shit.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. It's gonna be good. I'm very excited.
All right, dude.
It's gonna be a
Well,
good spring. Of
thanks for coming on.
course, yeah. Thanks for having me. Oh, shout out Sal. He sent me the funniest fucking meme today. He said he thought it was. He said he's like, I think this is just your comedy, and it fucking was. It killed me. But I told him that.
Love Sal, dude. I miss Sal and
Love
Antonio,
Sal.
but
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Love Antonio.
I didn't even tell them that we were gonna do this. I'm saving it as a surprise for them.
They don't care.
No, they don't care. I'll send it in the
They
group chat
don't
and they won't answer.
care.
But yeah,
That's
thanks, dude.
funny. Yeah. Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. It was fun.
All right, later.